If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we said
Yeah,
no.
that's a possibility.
To happen. That's the type of thing that sports brings people together, even from rival teams in terms of the fandoms, that you get a chance with strangers to have conversations that are enjoyable, to talk a little, you know what, and go about your day. But we can't have that in the WNBA. We just simply cannot have that because everything you say just about a player. You make a comment about a player, you make a criticism about a player, and to a huge portion of the I won't even say fan base because what we've unfortunately seen is most of these people aren't fans of the WNBA. They've just latched on to the league. You know, they've latched on to Angel Reese or what have you. It's kind of wild. There's the projection again, right? We always kept hearing about how Caitlin Clark's got this fan base who doesn't like basketball and they don't even like her, but they latched on to her so they can spew their nonsense. When in fact, it's turned out that it's the other way around. You have a whole lot of people who've latched on to the league, who've latched on to Angel Reese, so they can spew all of their nonsense at Caitlin Clark and at the Caitlin Clark fans and Fever fans because they think, erroneously, they think that all Caitlin Clark fans are, whatever you want to use, Fox News, Trump voters, MAGA, right wing, conservative, Republican, whatever it is, that's what they believe every single one of them are, which of course, as we know, isn't true. And that is what they're doing. They're using because hey, right, we look at the ratings, we know they're not watching. We know they're not watching Angel Reese. We keep hearing about our Instagram followers, but you can't get a couple 100,000 to watch Unrivaled. Absolutely wild. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. We're going to be dealing with this for a while. By the way, I don't think Caitlin Clark's coming back in 2 weeks. I just
Chick stick scars, you're right on the money. And I would like to go and say that Angel Reese does not have a serious fan base. She has a love and hip hop type fan base. And if the WNBA wants to go forward being a serious league, they need to construct their teams in a way that cater to fans like Caitlin Clark fan base. Um, and they need to honestly do away with injuries for now. They need to like instead of like sending like how they players will go overseas and play in another league if they're not ready, I guess. Well, they should make injuries the queen of the unrivaled league. Okay, send her over there. She can stat pad and do whatever in 3-on-3 basketball, and she can get attention out there. It'll be like a dramatic league. That's how I would do it. Make it a dramatic league. She goes over there and she does all the little stat padding and she wears her dresses and gets all the celebrities to come and they get all the attention over there. But when it comes to the WNBA, if you're gonna be in this league, you have to come in and you need to be serious, professional, and you need to carry yourself professionally on social media. And if I was the WNBA, I'd make sure that all these players that, especially star players, understand that they need to promote themselves a certain way. Now, going forward, media training has to happen, and these players need to understand the impact that they have on the fan base, and that they need to pick and choose their words carefully. So you can't just speak on anything. You need to make sure you are speaking on the right type of things when you use, media platforms. Um, and like I said, Angel Reese has a love and hip hop type fan base. They're there for drama. They're not there to be serious about basketball. They're there to, just entice drama and come up with nasty storylines and, you know, uh, try to cry racism and stuff like that. Come up with all types of, hate agendas. Oh, this, they said another hateful thing about Angel Reese and hateful this about Angel Reese. It's like, no, like Angel Reese gets clowned because of her lowlights, because they're absolutely an abomination. This is the worst basketball we've ever seen coming from Angel Reese. You know, I don't care how many times they try to highlight Caitlin Clark's turnovers. They're nothing like Angel Reese's missed layups. Angel Reese will miss layups right underneath the basket, like a fucking 7-year old. These are layups that she makes layups, you know, look like a little kid is trying to attempt it, but she's 6'3", okay? And apparently, no one wants to talk to her and tell her the real deal. And that's what we had. That's the times we live in. Nobody wants to be real and tell, you know, people, hey, you're not good at this, so you need to stop, or you need to change this up, and you need to take a break and work on this, and then come back. Angel Reese, look, you're under scrutiny now. Every time you play, people are going to be looking for those missed layups, and you need to go in and you need to be obsessed with making layups, nothing else. As soon as the ball is handed to you in the post, under the paint, boom, you need to be ready to lay it up the right way. You need to have the right layup package. The way she tries to make layups is absolute garbage. Like it's nasty. It's very you know elementary. But yeah. So you know I feel like that's how you defeat all this stuff. Like you send these players that's with the drama. Like you do the opposite of what the NBA did. When they took on the ABA. What you do, you split all these dramatic players and old players. Any old player, any player that's been in the WNBA longer than 5 years, okay, or is over the age of 27, who has not averaged 10 points a season ever in their career. You can send them all to the Unrivaled League or the Love and Hip Hop League, and you let them go out there and they come up with storylines and have their little lesbian, you know, relationship dramatic stuff going on over there. And that's how you keep all the serious players and retain all the serious players in the WNBA. And then you allow newer players to come in and they dominate. And then you can expand on this and have a serious WNBA with serious rosters and things like that. And yeah, that might save things.